Revit allows us to paint materials onto the faces of walls. To actually see this in action, from this view, what I'd like us to do is to come down on the screen to the visual styles, then turn on realistic mode. With as few of walls as we have inside of the scene, this should run very quickly. And what we're looking at now are the materials that are associated with the walls and floors that are in this scene. Right now, most of these are just generic materials. So as a result of that, they're showing up as just being a dark gray. If we select on one of the walls, such as the wall that shows up on the right, we can see that this is a basic wall, generic 8-inch wall. But if I choose a different type of wall off of the type selector list, we can expect this wall to begin to look a little bit different. For instance, if we select on this interior 6 1/8 partition 2-hour wall, and then click off of it, we can see that the materials that are associated with this wall have changed color. And the reason is that this material happens to have a different look associated with it underneath the material properties as opposed to the materials of just a generic wall. Now, if we wanted to paint along the face of this wall our own materials so that we can create custom looks, we can accomplish that. The first thing that we need to do is select on the wall that we want to make adjustments to. Next, underneath Modify Walls, above Geometry, there's an option here called Split Face. If you select on Split Face, we can then choose which face of the wall that we want to, what's being called split. So we select on this face of the wall, which is the interior face of the wall. Now, what I want to do is draw a line from this point going straight across in this direction. So with line selected, I'm going to click here and then come straight across to this point right here. Then click on the big green check mark. Now what's actually happened is that we've now split the bottom half of the wall from the top half of the wall. It's still all part of the same wall unit, but the materials on the bottom half of the wall and the top half of the wall are now kind of separate. What we can do now is to come over here to Paint and then select on the Paint tool. That'll open up the material browser. And from the material browser, we can choose from any of the materials which are currently loaded in this project. What I'd like to do is to come over here just to the softwood lumber, just because I think it'll display nicely. With the softwood lumber selected, move over here, and then notice how either the bottom half or the top half of the wall will highlight. If we click on the bottom half of the wall, we can now see that that softwood lumber material has now been associated to the face of this wall. But not only has it been associated to the face of this wall, it also, because it has the properties of that material, means that if we were in an elevation view or inside of a section view, we could then tag the top of the wall and it would have the appropriate material as we see here. But if we tag the bottom of the wall, it would also have the appropriate material as to the material that we just painted onto this surface. One other thing to know, though, is that if you have a wall that's curved, like this wall, and then you try to use the split face tool on it, you'll begin to notice that there's not much that you can do. You can select on like this curved portion, maybe this curved portion. If we take a look at it from this direction, we try to select on it and we begin to realize that there's really no place that we can select on it in order to split a wall that's curved like this. So the split face tool actually only works on walls that are going straight. If you want to have multiple different materials on a wall that's curved like this, you either need to make sure that that material is part of the wall type, or you need to model multiple walls with, say, the top half of the wall being one material, and then the bottom wall being a different material.